good, Brian? Okay, go ahead, Kurt.
When you get in the pen and you've got your pen rode, or you find cattle that need to be taken care of or removed from the pen, this is where the stockmanship really begins. So we all have heard about flight zone and balance point. And the thing that you want to remember, the flight zone, of course, I would rename that to pressure zone. And so instead of calling it flight, we don't want cattle fleeing in the pen, we want them to moving away from our pressure. The fatter cattle get, the less athletic they are, the more pressure it takes to get them to move. So when cattle get acclimated, get used to people, and they get heavy, the flight zone shrinks. The balance point is the point on the side that if you get behind that point, the animal goes forward. If you get in front of that point, the animal stops or turns away. That's the basics of all cattle handling. So if we want to take it a little bit farther, of course, we've all been following beef quality assurance practices for a long time, and the thing that started it all was we were giving injections into the hindquarters or the rump area. What we did is we moved that shot from the injection from the tail to the triangle in the neck. Well, I have found that the same thing happens when we are driving cattle. If we drive from their tail, it's like pushing a rope. If we move our pressure forward 4, 5, 6 feet to that triangle in the neck, the same place you give an injection, then you are pulling an animal, and that's why we call it pulling cattle from the pen. So by moving your pressure forward to the triangle in the neck, you're going to get a lot better deal and a lot better result. So I'm going to display and demonstrate a little bit of pressure zones, movement, release of movement, and how your horse can be of a benefit. So we'll just take one of these calves right behind me here, and of course we'll just start working with this animal. It's not sick, but we'll just take it and move it somewhere. So what I want to be able to do first off is I want to get movement. So my horse's head is the pressure point. So if I turn my horse and put his head right on the triangle, I create movement. So now my pressure is clear up at the triangle on the neck of the cow. Now if I want him to turn to the right, he has to switch eyes, and now I'm pressuring right at the neck from the other side. Now I'll switch to this other side. Now I'm going to draw his eye to me, and I'm going to ask him to turn to his right, or his left, my right. So here I move up, I put my pressure right behind his ear tag, and now my horse's head goes right behind his ear. Now as long as I stay on his right eye and keep him looking at me from the right, he'll keep going straight. If I want him to switch and go to the left, I've got to get over here and I've got to switch his eye. I've drawn his eye here. Now I can move here, and I'll put my pressure behind his ear again on the left eye, and now I'll pressure on the left eye and send him towards the gate from the left eye. So I'll steer, I'll stay, I'll keep drawing that eye, keep his nose going where I want it to go, and I'll push him towards the gate right behind his ear. Now I'll let him drift. I'll step forward, my pressure goes again on the left ear. I'll send him there. Now I'm going to switch across, switch eyes, and I'm going to draw forward, and I'm going to ask this calf to watch me open the gate. Now this is called placing the animal at the gate. I'll open the gate. I'll allow him to see me open the gate. I'll get him to look at the gate. Now I want his mind to go right straight out the gate. So I'm going to pick a spot to ride right here, send him there, step out wide, and take him out the gate. So that's pressuring at the front of the animal rather than on his tail. And I'm also using a drawing and a driving pressure. I'll explain again the drawing pressure. So as I step here, I can send this, if I'm pressuring at his tail, this animal should move, and I'll draw him around to the right. I'm keeping his eye looking at me from the right side. I'll step forward and I'll draw his mind to me. That's a drawing pressure. This is very important in getting cattle to go towards the gate. Now I'm going to show you a driving pressure. So that was at the tail. That drew him to me. Now I'm going to drive him away from my pressure. So here I drive up at his ear, and that's where you get the driving pressure. So once I get movement here, I've got to decide if I want to draw him towards me by stepping here. It should get him to look towards me like that. Or, as with this calf, if I want to drive him straight, I got to get out here. I got to draw him to me. I'll draw, position myself. Now I can drive. And I'm driving clear up at his ear. Right by his ear, I'm driving this animal. Now I got to switch eyes. So here he's got me on his right eye. I'll switch across. Now he's picked me up on his left eye. And I'll start moving forward because he's going to want to go back to his buddies. And I'll step right out, and I'm going to send this calf here towards the gate. I'll let him watch and see that other calf going. I'll step forward. My pressure's right behind the ear. I'll step forward. I'll look. Good. Now I got to switch eyes. Now he's left me, and he's feeling good. This is perfect. So now I'll come right over here. I'm going to draw his mind forward to me. I'll ask him to stop and look at me. Now I've got control of the animal. I got him looking at me with both eyes. Now I've got back control of him, and I'll just start him that way. He feels good. See, he's not sick. He's a good feeler. So with that kind of a calf, I'll just have to go get him, draw his mind to me, stop his feet, start over. So that's drawing pressure, driving pressure to get an animal to working for you before you try to go out the gate.